thanks for stopping into the homestead. We are so excited. This is our first video. I hope it goes really, really good. So what I'm gonna do today though is just make some potatoes. Okay, so I've cut up these potatoes. I have put them in citric acid because I did them a few days ago. And now I have time to go ahead and work on cooking and freezing and preserving them. And that's a great way to do it, guys. If you cannot get to it on the same day, just like I can't, because the day just runs out. And so what I do is I put them in water, put a little citric acid, maybe like a tablespoon of water into the bowl, cold water, and then it helps to preserve the potato. It helps keep it from going brown, and then that way it gives me a little extra time that I need to complete the things that I need to complete. So what we're doing today is going to freeze our potatoes, but there's more to potatoes than just freezing them. So if you get a really great deal on potatoes from the grocery store, or if you've grown your own potatoes, you want to preserve them. You don't want to waste the money or time and effort that you've put into the potatoes or that you've purchased from the potatoes. So instead of putting them in a cabinet and watching ice grow on them, what you can do is you can freeze them. So what I did is I cut our potatoes into cubes. That way we could use them just a little bit at a time for maybe frying in with a skillet in the morning for breakfast, or a quick little fry up for dinner at night. Or you can even add them to a soup if you're making a pot of soup. They're great for all kinds of things. But the other things you can do is you could just cut them into strips, and then what you would have is some French fries, some pre-made French fries also. And they work great in the air fryer. We're going to take our potatoes and we are going to put them in a strainer, and we're going to rinse them off. And so I've already done that, where I've rinsed off some potatoes. And you want to get your water to where it is boiling. So the reason why we are putting our potatoes into the boiling water for 4 minutes is to blanch the potatoes. Blanching stops the enzymes that take away the color, the flavor, the texture of your potatoes, and that way they preserve longer. You want to get your water to where it's a nice, good boil. And so I've got a pot set up here with some boiling water and my potatoes, and I've already rinsed them off and cleaned them, and we're going to put them in the boiling water, and we're going to put them in that boiling water for 4 minutes. Our water is boiling, so I'm going to go ahead and add some of the potatoes in, and just add them in slowly. That way you don't splash all that hot water on yourself and injure yourself. We don't eat a lot of potatoes in our home, so by freezing the potatoes or canning the potatoes, it really, really helps us with having things go bad in our home. And so if you're like me and you just don't have a lot of time, but it makes more sense to take some of the time outside of the meals to go ahead and preserve, and then that way your family still gets really good food, versus saying, hey, I just don't have anything ready, let's run to a fast food place. This is a great way to feed your family for less, buying things on sale or raising it yourself, and still being able to have the food that they need. Okay, so right now we have the potatoes on. Since I added the potatoes, it stopped boiling. So we gotta wait for it to get back up to a boil, and then what we'll do is at that point in time, we'll let it boil for 4 minutes. I'll see you when that's done. 43 seconds left on our timer. So guys, we're gonna get these potatoes off of the stove and into the strainer, get rid of all that hot water, and put them in a nice sink of ice cold water. They smell good. Might have to have some of these for dinner. Okay, once I get most of them strained, go ahead and shake the hot water off, and then put them into your ice water. Okay, so we got them in our ice water, and what we're gonna do is after that, we're gonna go ahead and lay them out on a towel so that way they can get dried. Once they get dry, at that point what you can do is you can just take them and put them into a freezer bag, or what I prefer to do is go ahead and put them onto a freezer paper on top of a cooking sheet, a baking sheet, and then that way they spread out when they freeze, because if they freeze all clumped up, it just makes it harder for me when we're trying to just take a little bit out at a time for cooking. So what I do is I will freeze them on the baking sheet, and then once they're frozen, I will then put them into a freezer bag instead. But if you want to do the freezer bag first, that's great. I also, if you have a rapid freeze or a quick freeze on your freezer, that just makes the process a little bit quicker. But, all right. So we've got quite a few here. I still have more in the sink to take out, but we're just going to go ahead and dry them out a little bit. So let's go ahead and get a baking sheet. I'm going to put a little bit of freezer paper on top of the pan. And I'm doing it with the side that's the smooth, slick side up. And I'm just going to take my potatoes and I'm just going to spread them out on top of here. Okay. And you can, if your freezer has a flash freeze, you can flash freeze these. That always works really, really good. You know, get them frozen quicker. It's good quality, but improved time. Because as a mom or a parent, or maybe you're even a single parent, it's important to spend time with your kids. And if you can make these good meals and have the nutritious food for your kids, but at the same time be able to take the time to make their good food and spend time with them, it's a win-win. Okay. So I got all those on the pan, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick them in the freezer. If you like this video, I encourage you to subscribe as well as share our videos. Subscribing to our channel as well as sharing our videos is the best way for you to help us here on our homestead. Thank you for hanging out with me today, and until next time, many blessings.